Clerk, you call a roll, please.
Commissioner Barlow. Here. Commissioner Wooten.
Here.
Commissioner Donovan.
Here.
Commissioner McIntyre.
Here.
Commissioner Mason.
Here.
Commissioner Sterling.
Here.
Commissioner Delancey.
Here.
Commissioner Wilson.
Here.
Commissioner Turner.
Here.
Commissioner Atkins.
Here.
Commissioner Jones.
Here.
Commissioner Fee. Here. Commissioner Twisdale.
Here.
Commissioner Sneed.
Here.
Commissioner Knight.
Here.
Commissioner Smith.
Here.
And Commissioner Burkett.
Here.
7.
We have 17 commissioners present. I declare that to be a quorum. I might add, Commissioner Bringle, I understand, is in the hospital. I think they've taken him to the hospital with high blood pressure. Someone told me, so he's not here tonight. But we're glad to have Commissioner Donovan here. Commissioner Donovan's been in and out of the hospital. Looks like he's doing well. Public Works Director Shannon Reed, he had a stroke and he's got a little bit of a heart flutter, I think, right now. They're trying to treat with medicine, but he's, as the doctors said down there at Methodist Hospital, said he's the luckiest man in the hospital because he's pretty much fully recovered and seems like he's doing well, and hopefully the medicine can get his heart straightened out. But the room's a little different, and we've got our invocation that's going to be by Commissioner Barlow, and then our Pledge of Allegiance is going to be by the Girl Scouts. The Girl Scouts are here. Miss Christy Russell is here, and the Girl Scouts and some folks, and she can, why don't you go ahead and introduce your group here now, Russell, if you can.
I'm Kristen Russell. I'm with the Girl Scouts Party South, which is our local council, and I have Troop 13018 from Toka Mumford area, and I've got Brooke Lee Stone and Avery Johnson. Thank you. I'm sorry, Zayda G. So we're really excited to be here, and thank you for having us.
This is the shirt they gave you, and it fits. It fits. I got a shirt and a box of cookies. But we're glad to have the Girl Scouts here. They tell me that they're looking for a permanent place for the Girl Scouts in Tipton County. They're going around there asking folks to be on the lookout for places. So certainly if any of you all know of some place that would be adequate, if you contact Ms. Russell and let them know. They're kind of putting feelers out to see if they can get a place for all of them where they can meet. But I'm going to ask the Girl Scouts if y'all would come forward. If y'all just stand right there. Commissioner Barlow, let's stand for the invocation.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, a day that we've never seen before, and when it's over, we'll never see it again. Lord, we ask you to bless us, keep us, and guide us through our meetings, guide our minds. We ask you to continue to bless Shannon Reed in his recovery, bless Steve Bringle, strengthen where he's weak and build him where he's torn down. Lord, we thank you for all things. This is my prayer in Jesus' name and for his sake.
Amen. Girl Scouts, we're ready.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. All right, do we have any additions to the agenda? Two additions I have are the county clerk's public records policy for you all to spread on the minutes, and also have a financial report, the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2017 for the Tipton County Sheriff's Department for your consideration. Item number 5 are the minutes of the previous month's meeting.
Make a motion that be approved.
Second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Mason, seconded by Commissioner McIntyre, that the minutes of the previous month's meeting be approved as mailed out. Is there any discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor of the motion, let it know by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. So ordered.
Charles Brassfield, Shelley Ford, Margot Knight, Adrian McGarity, Ariel Ellen Taylor, Jackie Wilson, and Wendy Lynn Young.
Would anyone like to add a name to the list? If not, do we have a motion that those individuals be elected as notaries in Tipton County?
So moved, Mr. Chairman. Second.
Motion is by Commissioner Wilson, seconded by Commissioner Smith. Is there any discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor of the motion, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. So ordered. Consideration of the ratification of the private acts. With that objection, I'm going to move it down a little further. Item number 8 is the consideration of a resolution making appropriations to nonprofit organizations. The second reading, this is the resolution that you adopted last month, calling for a total appropriations to nonprofit of $49,000. Nothing's changed since you adopted it last month. Do we have a motion on the resolution?
So moved. Second.
Who made that? Motion made by Commissioner Donovan, seconded by Commissioner Sneed, that the nonprofit resolution be adopted on the second reading. Any discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor of the motion, let it know by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. So ordered. Item number 9 are consideration of appointments to the Hatchie River Regional Library Board. The chair recommends Mr. Dwight Stanton and Mr. Ben Little be reappointed to the Hatchie River Regional Library Board. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion is by Commissioner Mason, seconded by Commissioner McIntyre. Any discussion on the nomination? If not, all in favor of the motion, let it know by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. So ordered. Item number 10 on the agenda is consideration of appointments to the Tipton County Library Board. The chair recommends the reappointment of the following board members. Mr. Dwight Stanton. This is Trina Jones, Mr. Ben Little, and Tipton County Commissioner Dr. Courtney Fee be reappointed to the Tipton County Library Board. Do we have a motion?
So moved, Your Honor. Second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Smith, seconded by Commissioner Jones, that Mr. Stanton, Ms. Fee, Mrs. Jones, and Mr. Ben Little be reappointed to Tipton County Library Board. Any discussion on the nomination? If not, all in favor of the motion, let it know by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. So ordered. Consideration of the ratification of private acts. The private acts that have been adopted by Tipton County have come back from Nashville, if you all will recall. These acts come back, they have to be ratified by at least 2/3 vote. One is public chapter number 23, House Bill number 1441, Senate Bill number 1450. The other is private chapter number 24, House Bill number 1444, Senate Bill number 1451. On private chapter number 23, the private act. This is the private act that amends several existing statutes. This is what we call basically the housekeeping bill. I can read the private act if you all would prefer me to read it. Read the private act. Or it's the same one we had.
Okay.
Mr. Wilson?
The only changes that they made at the state level was they denied our increase on fees on one item. Is that the only change we have?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll go through this. I'll go through private act number 23. We had 4 members as a majority of the purchasing committee. You can't do that because we got 9 districts, so we have to change that to 5. So we changed that from 4 to 5. The provision of the act does not apply to the Tipton County Public Works Committee or the County Board of Education. The compensation of the judge of the court general session should be the same as the annual salary provided by law for chancellor and judges of circuit court. That's still the same. The The proceeds received by the county from the tax, and this is involving the hotel motel tax to the county, it's a 5% tax. The proceeds received by the county from the hotel motel tax shall be designated and used for industrial development purposes and/or community development purposes. We added that, just to be clear, that it might be a community development project, and that might not be classified as an industrial project. So you can use the hotel motel tax for either one of those broad categories. That's all there is on private chapter number 23. The main one being changing the purchasing committee, and taking 5 members of the purchasing committee to adopt a motion rather than 4 members of the purchasing committee, because as you remember the last census, when we reapportioned, we went to 9 members of each committee, and so 4 is no longer the majority. We just didn't change it in the private act. This corrects that, it corrects that statement. The other change, the last change in the private act, was amended by deleting section 3, advertised in a newspaper published or circulated in Covington, Tennessee, and such other newspaper as it may deem proper, and substituting instead advertised in a newspaper of general circulation and/or such other newspaper as it may deem proper. And if you all remember when we talked about this at our joint meeting, we did that in case the newspaper in Covington moved to another town or another paper propped up that had a newspaper of general circulation. It allows us to basically, as long as they've got a circulation that's general and countywide, to make a difference which area of the county they're located in. Instead of just Covington, it can be any town. And those are the only changes in this private act. Any discussion on public chapter number 23? All right, we'll have a roll call vote. If you favor adopting private chapter number 23, private act, you vote yes. If you do not favor, you vote no.
Commissioner Barlow,
Yes.
Commissioner Wooten,
Yes.
Commissioner Donovan,
Yes.
Commissioner McIntyre,
Yes.
Commissioner Mason,
Yes.
Commissioner Sterling,
Yes.
Commissioner Delancey,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson,
Yes.
Commissioner Turner,
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Fee,
Yes.
Commissioner Twisdale,
Yes.
Commissioner Sneed,
Yes.
Commissioner Knight,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yeah.
Commissioner Murphy.
Yes.
All yes. 7.
The vote is 17 yes. I declare the private act to be ratified. The other private act is longer. It's private chapter number 24, House Bill number 1444, Senate Bill number 1451, signed by Trey Hardy, Secretary of State. This is the private act that deals with the Budget and Fiscal Act procedure of 2017. I can go through this if you all would prefer.
How long is it?
It's 4 pages. Let me go, you want to go through it? Yeah. Oh, okay. Do we have a motion? We have a motion ratifying private chapter.
Make the motion.
24.
General Welfare Committee went through all those private acts.
Motion is by Commissioner Wooten. This is the same thing we've seen before. Motion is by Commissioner Wooten. Who seconded that? Seconded by Commissioner Sneed. All right, we'll have a roll call vote. If you favor the adoption of private chapter number 24, the Tipton County Budget and Fiscal Procedure Act of 2017, you'll vote yes. If you do not favor, you'll vote no.
Commissioner Barlow,
Yes.
Commissioner Wooten,
Yes.
Commissioner Donovan,
Yes.
Commissioner McIntyre,
Yes.
Commissioner Mason,
Yes.
Commissioner Sterling,
Yes.
Commissioner Delancey,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson,
Yes.
Commissioner Turner,
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yeah.
Commissioner Fee. Yes. Commissioner Twisdale,
Yes.
Commissioner Sneed,
Yes.
Commissioner Knight,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
and Commissioner Murphy.
Yes.
17 yes.
We have 17 yes, I declare that to be a quorum and that the ratification of the private act is successful. All right, do we have any committee reports? Do we have a report from the Public Works Department? Mr. Quizzer, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Reed also said he certainly appreciated the prayers and concerns everybody had while he was sick. And we certainly look forward for him coming back to work too. The Tipton County Public Works Committee met in regular session on Monday, August 7, 2017 at the Emergency Management Building in Brighton. Meetings called to order by Chairman Twister. Commissioner present was Bringle, Wooten, Knight, Delancey, Wilson, Atkins, Murphy, employee Darlene Wheeler, and Jerry Jackson were also present. The meeting was opened for prayer by Commissioner Murphy. Visitors Jacob Kirk, Mike Barker, Pat McHugh were recognized by Chairman Twister. They were there, Mr. Chairman, for the bid openings. A motion was made by Commissioner Wilson and seconded by Commissioner Knight to approve the minutes for the month of July. Motion passed and unopposed. Motion made by Commissioner Wooten and seconded by Commissioner Knight to approve the bills as reviewed for the month of July. Motion passed and unopposed. A motion made by Commissioner Wilson and seconded by Commissioner Atkins to take the bid for a roll-off truck under battery until our September meeting. Motion passed and unopposed. A motion made by Commissioner Wooten and seconded by Commissioner Knight to adjourn. Motion passed and unopposed. The meeting adjourned at 6:35. Mr. Chairman, I move that the report be adopted.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Twistle, seconded by Commissioner Jimbo Atkins. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any questions? Chairman Twistle?
What bids were y'all?
Roll-off truck from the landfill down there.
Any other questions? If not, all in favor of the motion, let it know by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. So ordered. The Finance and General Welfare Committee met jointly prior to the commission. Of course, that includes all the commissioners. Basically, I gave an updated report on some of the business that's been pending in the county and brought you all up to speed on that. One item that was voted on was the appointment of the Tipton County Fire Chief, Mr. John Piercy. And so I think we do need a motion from Mr. Wilson. It's going to come out in the report next month when we get the reports.
That's
But
correct.
I think we do need to go ahead and get a motion to accept the recommendation of the General Welfare Committee.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I will recommend, the General Welfare Committee will recommend full legislative body that the county executive be authorized to appoint a county fire chief.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Wilson, seconded by Commissioner Smith and Sneed. Any discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor of the motion, let it know by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. So ordered. Did you have any other general welfare business that we need to?
No, sir.
We're gonna, it's all gonna be in the next month's report. All right. I do have the public records policy from the county clerk. Clerk Gaither has given me her public records policy. It would need to be approved and spread on the minutes of this commission meeting. Do we have a motion? Remember, we did several last month, and we're doing there may be a few more that we've got to do as we go along, but this is in compliance with the new statute. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sneed, second by Commissioner Sterling, that the county clerk's public records policy be adopted and spread on the minutes of this commission meeting. Any questions, discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion, let it know by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. So ordered. Nothing more exciting than a public records policy. The next item is the Tipton County Sheriff's Financial Report for the year ending June 30th, 2017. I think there are two reports. One was filed on July the 10th, the other one on July the 24th. So I assume it's the one on the 24th that we need. Is that correct? Yeah. All right. Do we have a motion that we approve and spread on the minutes the annual financial report year ending June 30th, 2017 for the Tipton County Sheriff's Department as filed on July 24th, 2017?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson, seconded by Commissioner Mason. Any discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor of the motion, let it know by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. Do we have a report from the Tipton County Sheriff's Office?
I have my handouts this time, that's all I have. Thank you.
Do we have a motion to adopt the report and spread on the minutes of this commission?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Donovan, seconded by Commissioner Atkins to adopt the report and spread on the minutes of this meeting. Any discussion, any questions? If not, all in favor of the motion, let it know by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. So ordered. That's all I had, Commissioners. I do want to, I guess I should explain, Ritter Communications is here. He's the gentleman over here. He's going to be covering our meetings for us for Ritter Communications, and Richard Self is going to be handling he's the videographer for the meeting, so if you don't look good on TV, you can blame Richard for that. We're glad to see Ritter has stepped up and going to be covering our meetings in most of the county. We're still working to see if we can't get coverage outside the Ritter area in the future. As you all know, Beth Lakey and the local coverage station for years covered our commission meetings as well as the city council meetings, etc. But we're glad to have Ritter Communications here and glad to have them covering our meeting. We're also glad to have the Girl Scouts here. Thank you for the T-shirt and the diet cookies that you. I appreciate you coming by and visiting me, and we appreciate you doing the Pledge of Allegiance for us here tonight as well. And thanks to all the firefighters here. I assume you're here in support of the Tipton County Fire Chief. I hope we don't have a fire somewhere because we'll be in trouble. Thank you all for being here as well. Hopefully we'll get a report from Commissioner Bringle on how he's doing sometime tomorrow. Having said that, Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's by Commissioner Fee, seconded by Commissioner Sneed without objection. Stand adjourned.
I do too. I think the most exciting thing about the meeting tonight was that we've got a really strong direction for fire. And fire is something that's been a concern for everybody. And we're really excited about the new fire direction.
And I think that's just attributed to the leadership and recognizing that that's something that makes a difference. And so I think that this really puts us in a seat to be successful going into the future.
I think so too. And you know, being a three-star resident, a resident within the three-star area, I can attest to the fact that the man that they are putting in this position is excellent, most qualified, and you won't find anybody that'll work hard.
So I think that's just a testament to Tipton County and its leadership, and just all the municipalities as well. We're looking to again provide what's needed throughout the county. So thank you.
Absolutely, to serve our residents.